Welcome back to the Burning Issue Podcast. Today we're going to cover a slightly hot topic of how Trump wrongfully or supposedly wrongfully deported Kamar Abrego Garcia. You know, he got deported down to the little prison. The little prison for all the deported terrorists go. And supposedly Trump's hot mic as well. So we're going to cover into that. So, you want me to give the rundown real quick? What happened?
Yeah, give the rundown.
To all you people who don't know?
Yeah.
It's all over the news.
Let them know something.
So, Kamar, he was wrongfully deported to El Salvador. And he was deported, but here's the issue. Here's the issue here. The media is portraying him as a U.S. citizen from Maryland or wherever he's from, right? They're saying, oh, Maryland man got deported. No. He's a U.S. resident. He's not a citizen. He wasn't born in the United States, and he wasn't definitely not born in Maryland or wherever the media is telling him he's born from.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So Trump and the El Salvador president met up, and the El Salvador president said, yeah, we can't do nothing. We can't bring him back. So I don't know exactly what that's about. You know, out of all the people we deported, if we deported only one wrong guy, not saying it's right, but one out of how many got deported? A lot?
A lot. Thousands.
So
yeah, you know, like, come on. It's only a big thing because the U.S. government, and it's because of the Trump administration. It's got to be this big deal. But so the whole wrongfully deported thing don't make sense for me. He was a U.S. resident, not citizen, which means he's illegal. So, illegals get deported.
Well, no, he's a legal U.S. resident.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But
supposedly.
He had like a visa or something?
I'm not sure what exactly we had, but the administration said they were investigating some gang activity and wrongfully accused him of gang activity. So they were going off of something. I don't know if the information was right, what they were going off of. But he was a legal U.S. resident.
Okay.
But it boils down to the media is saying, oh, Trump deported a legal U.S. citizen born in Maryland. No, that's not
a smear campaign, bro.
That's not it.
As a dishonest representation of the story. But, you know, that's per usual with these media companies. Per usual. My thing is this. Everybody's talking about immigration this, immigration that. At the end of the day, okay, so let's say, you know, they find out he was legally here and everything, and they just did something wrong. That's cool. Like, bring him back. Y'all extradite him, whatever. But if find out he's not here legally, or it's kind of some gray area, you can't just be all, you know, soft-handed, because if you do it for him, you got to do it for the next person.
Yep.
And then it's just another loophole for these people to get in the country, no different than the anchor babies.
Yep. And that brings us to our next point. So another thing the media is on about is the same meeting with El Salvador president and Trump. There was apparently a hot mic. Okay, and the hot mic said, let me get the direct quote here. The hot mic caught Trump saying, and I quote, "The homegrowns are next. You got to build about 5 more places." End quote. And the media is all freaking out over this because we don't know what that context to. Now we can assume what it contains to.
Right.
We can assume it's contained to anchor babies.
Yeah.
Illegal immigrants moving here to the United States illegally, they are criminals, and having a baby, and that baby is now a U.S. citizen. That is not right.
Right.
That I don't care what you say. I think if your parents are illegal here, then you should get deported, even if you were born here.
2 wrongs don't make it right.
Because your parents did it illegally. They are criminals.
They did it illegally with the foreknowledge that it was illegal, so they did it intentionally to spite the system. So if we don't, maybe enact some legislation or do something, that's, once again, an open loophole. And that ain't no different than having a hole in the border wall.
Yep. So it's like this. Why, I understand the kid didn't choose to be born where it's born.
Right.
The kid didn't choose where to be born. But that's on the parents.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a very complex issue. I think if you're caught illegally having a child here, I don't know what to do about the kid. Because the kid is technically innocent. I'll admit, the kid is innocent. But the parents should be heavily charged or sent to El Salvador.
Yeah, so look.
Because they messed up. They just messed up their kids' lives by doing this illegally.
So, people are probably, I know people in the conversation going to be like, well, that's so cruel, you're breaking up the family, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's breaking up the family. The parents decided to break up their family when they disobeyed the law of the land.
They could have had a perfectly intact family in their homeland.
Right.
Wherever they're come from.
My thing is this. If you're the parents, with the current administration that deportations are happening. So, you are choosing to let your kid either get deported with you or go into foster care.
Yep.
So that, once again, the burden of the conscience does not fall on the United States government. It falls on the parents.
Yep. And
some people may think that's cruel, but
I don't look.
A law is a law.
I'll admit, I don't know what to do about the kid. You have any?
I just
not
told
that's
you.
going to get heard, but you have any suggestions for the kid, like the kid itself?
I just told you my suggestion is: if the parents illegal, the kid illegal, bro. So
Okay.
as Holman said, oh well, what you gonna do? Separate families, deport the whole family.
Fair enough.
Deport the whole. Okay, maybe they could do a program to where if the kid is born here legally and the parents get like a visa for a certain amount of time, just to make sure they kind of set stuff in place for the kid, and then maybe they get like fast track to get into the country. I don't know, but the kid, I think as well, the kid shouldn't receive such a hefty penalty because clearly they fleeing their country for some reason.
No, yeah, that's clear.
Right.
That's clear.
So, I think the kid shouldn't take the brunt, but like it can't be no soft system where they just get a freebie.
Yeah, no.
Just because they did that.
That's why it is so complicated. So, I don't know. I'm sure our intelligent lawmakers and people like that can figure something out. But I think for sure the parents that if you're caught illegally having a kid here and you're illegal here, you are a criminal, then you should be not only deported, maybe even sent to El Salvador.
Yeah, something's gotta happen. Something's gotta make it to where nobody else wants to do it.
That's unacceptable.
Yeah, so like
That is
a heavy
unacceptable.
fine or some type of El Salvador.
Send that to El Salvador.
It's got to be something to like, oh, like he did that. Nah, I ain't doing that. I don't want that.
And we understand other countries, they're not as great as America, but you gotta play the rules. You have to play by the rules.
Law's a law, bro.
You
can't
have to
murder
play by.
somebody.
Nope. You gotta play by the rules.
Law's a law. So I mean, I know the Democrats are gonna be in the comments. Oh, y'all are so cruel. Listen, let me bring it to your level. If someone breaks into your house, steals all your food, and shoots you, are they illegal? Yes, they're illegal. So an illegal person should not be in your home. And I'm sure unless y'all like into this stuff or you like people to take all your stuff, you will want them out your house, right? Too. It's the same thing with the country.
Let me put it this way: you bought a gym membership to this high class gym. They give you free Powerade, free towels, locker room, showers. Right? You pay monthly, a decent amount monthly for this nice gym. You get to work out obviously whatever you want, 24/7. Then you see some dude sneak in the back door, drinking your Powerade, using your towels, using your showers, for free.
I'm snitching on him.
Is that okay?
No, bro, I'm snitching.
Oh, but my gym is worse. Your gym's better than mine. My gym's worse.
Get your bread up. You can pay just like I could pay. So yeah, that's a great analogy. They get to sneak in through the back door and reap the benefits when they got people who've been there their whole life and are not getting like when Biden was in there, they were immigrants in hotels and everything getting paid for it. These Visa cards and money on them. And we got American veterans starving homeless.
Yep.
American citizens, just regular, starving homeless.
Why should American citizens suffer, but illegal criminal immigrants flourish and get government aid? Oh, not all illegal immigrants are criminals. Yeah, they quite literally are.
Yeah.
They entered the country illegally.
Illegal.
And, that's not even mentioning their past criminal history.
Right.
A lot of these are rapists, child molesters, drug dealers.
Murderers.
So,
terrorists.
if you enter this country illegally, you are a criminal by default.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah, see, the problem with today's world is everything is about language and feelings and Nah, dog. Let's get the black and white. Did he do this? Yes, criminal. Did he do it? No, not criminal. It's simple. It's simple. But the more we try and complicate it with trying to appease every party, the the murkier the water gets, and now you worried about who you go to offend and all this. Nah, dog. If you go back to politics in the 80s and the 60s, it was just simple. Like, here's the issue. People knew a man was a man, a boy was a boy, and a girl was a girl. Everything was smooth. But now that we got all this, I'm not even going to say them boys. We got all these different ideas floating around, and they going unchecked because of the tolerance culture. It's hard to put anything, in stone anymore.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's got to be an age of, I don't want to say stoicism. It's got to be an age of conservatism. It's got to be an age of, this is what it is and this is what it ain't. It's not this age of my truth and your truth. That's not how the world works.
Yep.
It's never worked like that.
Yep.
Only so recently.
Trump's a racist. Trump and J.D. Vance are racist. They're both married to immigrants.
Yep.
Legal immigrants. J.D. Vance is married to a darker woman.
Yeah, I think she's like Indian descent.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. So if
they're racist.
He's racist. All right. If he married to that woman, that means his kids got a darker skin complexion.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's such a trivial issue. Like, well, that's not a trivial issue if they were racist, but they're not. But the idea that we're gonna sit here and go back and forth and potentially create a gray area in the legal code for administration because of how somebody feels is retarded.
Yep.
Point blank.
Yep.
If it's found that he was here legally and they did it wrongly, then okay, they bring him back and issue an apology. If they find that he was indeed guilty, then there's nothing to apologize for.
Yep.
And the homegrown stuff, look, not really sure what that was about. I mean, we could speculate and everything. First things first, the hot mic is crazy. That was a private conversation.
What? Yeah. What's up with all this Trump information getting hot mic'd and leaked? Yeah. You got videos of him leaking. You got the group chat being leaked. You got hot mics being leaked. Where's all this about?
You got to keep in mind. This is not the first time they were spying on Trump, bro. His first campaign, they was doing this.
That's true.
So they gonna continue to do it, even though it's illegal. Mm-hmm. It's very illegal. They gonna continue to do it. So I think Trump has to be very mindful of what he's saying. Especially the administration got to be have a lot more OPSEC when it comes to discussing plans and stuff. But I mean, the Democrats gonna play dirty, and the powers that be that's gonna play dirty because they can't win. This election showed that the American people still have that 1776 spirit.
Yep.
It's still in the bloodline.
And I don't want us to get caught in the comments. If you come here legally and you're a legal immigrant and you have a kid here, I think that kid should be a U.S. citizen.
Yeah,
that's fine. That kid has every right to be a U.S. citizen because their parents did it right. They did it the right way. But if you come here illegally, as said before, look, there has to be consequences.
This is what it boils down to. It boils down to positive and negative reinforcement. You don't reward a behavior that you don't want to keep seeing. Mm-hmm. You discipline that behavior and you stop seeing it. So for example, in college, when you get good grades, you get offered scholarships. That's a positive reward. And not only is it's extrinsic outside of you, but to receive it, you got to have intrinsic value. Like, you got to think, I'm smart and good enough to attain it.
Yep.
So that's two things that allow you to chase this thing. Now, let's say, for example, you don't get good grades and you still apply for a scholarship. Nah, because you're rewarding the mediocrity and the apathetic behavior. Yep. So it's the same thing. So just take that framework and apply it over here, and you see the same thing.
Yep.
So we have to get back to the meritocracy. America was the best when there was a meritocracy. You look back, World War I and World War II, when people were actually put in positions because of something they did, not because of, he's black or Indian or he's white or whatever. It doesn't matter about that, bro. What did Martin Luther King say? He said he wanted to see people judged by the content of their character.
Yep.
Since people love to credit Martin Luther King and all this, content of their character. It don't matter what color this is. It don't matter what color this is. It matters what's in here. What's in here? Because that's what the world sees. Bro. This can all fade one day.
Yep.
But what's going to remain of me? My memories, how I made people feel, what I accomplished. Not if I was black or white, bro. Don't matter. So my thing is, let's just get back to objective measures of success and failure, objective measures of right and wrong.
I like that.
That's all I got to say on that, bro.
All right. I mean, that's all I got to say.
Yep.
On that situation.
Stay tuned.
Yep, stay tuned. Next week's episode should be on a whole 9/11 conspiracy.
Yeah.
The Twin Towers.
Yep. If you disagree, please leave a comment.
Yep.
Leave some more comments. One day we want to do a respond in the comments video. We We got a lot of y'all who just say kind of random stuff, but it's all good. Like, we love all our supporters. Stay subscribed. Shirts are still live.
Shirts are still available.
Yeah, y'all go get those because once they are unavailable, they will not come back.
Yep.
And yep.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Indeed.
Follow the Instagram page. Always posting to the Instagram page. That was about it.